Hey, what's up, guys? Here to talk about the WNBA in Springfield. Right? Have some fun. Now, sat here writing up a whole bunch of notes with some facts for you guys about pretty much how this could work. So, I'm gonna start with the picture of the WNBA. Now, of course, a lot of people have it in their mind that, like, the WNBA loses money, right? Because I think it was David Stern. It might have been Adam Silver or David Stern. One of them was talking about that they had never turned a profit, and that their losses were at 10 million a year, about. But that was back in, I believe, 2018. So since then, though, the league went from making $60 million a year, right, to making, let's see, let me just find these right numbers real quick, to about 102 million in 2019, and this year they are estimated to generate about 180 to 200 million dollars, which is a huge increase. So the league's actually been making money these last, like, 5 years. That's a little secret right there. That's why you've been hearing the women um, talking about the pay a lot, pay gap, and all this other stuff, because women didn't exactly have a 50-50 deal like the men do. The men have a 50-50 deal with the league, so 50% of the league profits have to go to the players, which is how the salary cap is set. And for people who didn't know, that's how the salary cap is set. 50% of the league profits go to the players, right? But the women didn't have it that way. The women were probably making like 10%, 9%, or something like that of you know, the league profit, or lack thereof. But over these last 5 years, they've been making a profit. So it's like, and then their last CBA, they actually had some type of deal where, they're supposed to get 50%, just like the NBA players do. But now, over these years, there's been a lot of things going on. So there was let me make sure I'm looking, because I don't want to say the wrong numbers. But yeah, that's what it was. It was $75 million. It was a $75 million capital raise that happened for the WNBA with investors way back in February. So the WNBA basically gave away 16% in equity, which means that the 50-50 split that was had between the NBA owners and the WNBA owners is now 42-42, and the new investors have the rest of that, right? So that's happened, right? And then basically, when it comes to like these teams, if you're looking at like the sales of teams over the past, you had like the Aces last year got sold for $2 million. So a lot of people be talking about like how much it would cost and all this other stuff. How much it, for a WNBA team? They really have like a $10 million like franchise tag, I guess is what you would call it. And not every team necessarily even being sold for that. I think, like, what was it? Chicago was sold for Chicago Sky was sold for $10 million, but just recently, it was also valued at $85 million since that sale. So people have been making improvements, but it really isn't a crazy price tag in the big scheme of things in order to get one of these teams. I believe I said the average is like $10 million. That's the highest. So if you wanted to just start at the highest, $10 million to get a team, I mean, that shit don't even sound crazy. We get $20 million a year from MGM anyway, just to be here, you know. So I mean, what else they got going on? Uh, as far as like viewership goes, you know, basically the NHL, NASCAR, and MLS actually have similar numbers in viewership to the WNBA, and the players make 5 to 15 times as much as like the WNBA as far as like the revenue and all that, as the media deals and stuff like that. So there's like actually like a ton of room for growth there. People just be focused on yesterday all the time too much. So this is just like a little rundown of what's going on with the WNBA. And then like there's been like what did they say, 27% uptick in attendance. Sponsor revenue has reached double-digit growth. Said the WNBA app has seen its monthly user activity increase by 147%. Said they've reached what, a record $155 million video views at this stage of the season, which is 84% of the total views of last year's whole regular season, and they're only halfway through this one, right? So they're about set to achieve their highest attendance since 2018, with more than 787,000 fans already attending regular season games, right? And then like what, the Seattle Storm just was evaluated at $151 million like a month ago. The ESPN deal, they got paid them $27 million last year, and it's going to pay them $33 million this year. And they just got a deal with Ion, where they're going to have like exclusive 2 slots for Friday night games, so they could be between the NBA games, like, because their season starts like when the NBA is kind of ending and going into the playoffs. So they won't have to compete with the NBA. They're gonna have like permanent Friday slots. I know there's Friday NBA games, but those don't happen all the time like that. It's really Thursday, Tuesday, and Sunday really that like is hardcore like basketball days, and then like you get Wednesdays on ESPN sometimes, maybe Mondays, really Fridays, sometimes. But I guess WNBA trying to lock down Friday, so they're getting their 2 slots on the Ion channel, and they're getting paid like a total of $39 million for the next 2 years. But the whole thing with that deal is the ESPN/Disney deal is up in 2 years as well. So in 2025, they're gonna obviously set the stage for a whole new media deal with both of them, because ESPN can't really guarantee like Friday nights for them like that, and having a permanent slot that people know like Friday nights is WNBA games. They'll be, just like everybody knows Sundays is football. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they want to have like a day that everybody knows like this is the day the games are on. And right now they kind of been like moving around. Sometimes the games on Mondays, sometimes you see games on Thursdays, sometimes they're on Saturdays. Like over the history, over the past couple of years, it's been more set in their schedule, and the proof has been shown in their viewership. And what do they say? Like, the average viewership is like over 500,000 now. The viewership is actually pretty good. That's why a lot of people still going on a lot of past stuff. And still going on a lot of stuff that was from like 2010, 2003. Like, bro, I know like back in the day, like stuff wasn't moving the same way, but it's a new generation, a new group of people that are watching you. You gotta understand the youth have grown up. They're watching this stuff as well. So there's like a whole demographic that's there to watch this stuff besides ourselves. And it's out there. The proof is in the pudding, like I said. So as far as like the WNBA goes, it's pretty much growing a lot. And I believe they're about to have like at least up to 2 teams that are going to be added in like the next like 2 to 3 years. I believe 2 years. They said they want to have it just in time for like the new TV deal that they're about to do kick in. So they're definitely on the uptick. So it's not like the WNBA is like a failing investment or something, or like a failing league. So like that's like the first thing you gotta like get out of people's minds, because a lot of people really don't have knowledge about it, and they'll talk about it, but then in the same breath that they say all these things, they'll be like, I don't really watch the games. So it's like, bruh, you know what I mean? I understand that you be hearing these things, but it's just like anything in life. It's a lot of rumors and hearsay, and you gotta get to the facts. So the facts are, the WNBA has been making money for the last 5 years, at least. It was once a failing thing, but The support's been getting there, especially because, there's what I like to call an acute awareness of the lack of things for women as far as like sports. You've seen the soccer women, I think probably women in golf and in tennis. Um, they've all been having their share to say about, their share of the pie. And in some instances, I totally agree with them, and in some I disagree, and not so much in the idea that I don't think they should get paid more, but it's just more about visibility and support. Like the money has to be there. Obviously, just like anything in the economy. We live in America; it's a capitalist country. Everybody's trying to make some money, but you know, getting back to this, you know, you also got social media sites that are streaming games. You got Twitter deal that they had. I think that was like 40 million. You had the YouTube live TV YouTube deals. I don't think they really digged into that as much as they should, but that's definitely a big market to tap into. And then we can get into stuff like getting into the city, like bringing it back to how this kind of adapts to Springfield, because the idea is that like people have their negative ideas, like I said, their preset ideas about how this couldn't work or won't work. Well, if, as currently stated, if they just threw a WNBA team into Springfield, right at, say, the Mass Mutual Center, they have like a total capacity of 8,000. That would make them the fourth smallest arena in the WNBA, which would mean that there are already teams that are doing well that are smaller. Like, for example, I believe the Dallas arena is like, what, 3,200, maybe 4,000, fits 4,000 people max. And they're actually one of the more profitable teams in the league. You know, they're one of the teams that had like one of the highest viewed games. I believe their viewership was like 733,000 for a game between them and the Sparks, I believe. So it's like, bro, they get views, they get their seats filled, they get their due, they get their support. So the size of the arena isn't the problem, right? So you got a big enough arena, right? And there's factoids about Springfield that a lot of people might not be aware of, like the Springfield metropolitan area. And people got to understand that there's a difference between Springfield itself, like the city, which I will differentiate between at times, just so you're clear what I mean, and the Springfield metropolitan area. The Springfield metropolitan area encompasses like 43 cities and towns around Springfield. It's basically the political reach and grasp of the area. So this area is basically made up of 680,000 people. Now, the city of Springfield itself has a population of about somewhere between 150 to like max 200,000. The estimate is really like 155,000 people in this city, right? So you have that, right? We have a good enough population. Now we're talking about an arena that's supposed to have a max capacity of 8,000. So you're saying we got at least 680,000 people in the greater metropolitan area, 150 in the city, right? So I don't think the demographics is a problem. There's no problem with the demographics here. Like we got the people, right? And people are, I don't know, somehow acting like WNBA tickets cost thousands of dollars or something. Now, according to the stats here, then I'm gonna give you some astounding stats for Springfield, right? Now, according to the stats here, just for the ticket prices of the WNBA, just to give you an idea, the average ticket price is $47. $47. Come on now. Stop playing with me, Springfield. People spend more than that on weed every day. Okay? So you're not gonna fool me into thinking that people can't afford $50 for a ticket. That's not gonna fly with me. Okay? I'm not in the house. I'm on the street. I work. I do me. But I'm in these streets. I see what's going on around here. Though. Ain't nobody about to play with me when it comes to what's really going on. I'm here. I'm not some dude chilling up in some suite that never comes outside. No, no, no. $47 ain't nothing. Now, That is the average ticket price. You gotta break it down. Now, on the low scale, we talking about the nosebleeds. If you want to be cheap, right? Them things is costing $17 to $20. The cheapest tickets. Let me see right here. $17 is the cheapest ticket currently available for this season in the WNBA. Right, $17. Right, and the highest, which is an anomaly. Right, excuse my tongue a little bit. I got a lisp sometimes, but $400, and that's in Dallas. Right, we were just talking about them, how they only seat like 3,200 people. $400 for the highest price ticket. But let's go to the second highest. You know what the second highest price is for another arena? I believe it's New York Liberty, $233. So that's not the standard. That's just the highest. I'm just giving you the idea of what the highest is, right? And then the lowest, right? The second is $233. The average is like $220 or something like that. So it's not like the tickets are crazy high prices. That's not the problem here. You know what I'm saying? We talking about for those tickets that are gonna cost like $200, $250. Those are VIP box tickets. Those are the come on, big money. Come on now. I've seen people go to the club. Come on now, go to the club and go get that VIP bottle for $250 on a Thursday. You're not gonna fool me into believing that people can afford these seats. That's not what's going on here. All right. So we're gonna start with that. Right. Now, let's get to some numbers here, because people get mistaken around here. Right. So in this area, this greater Springfield area, the average median income for a household is $42,000, and the median income for a family is $52,000 a year. The cost of living in this area, $1,500 to $1,700. That's the average cost of living. $1,500 to $1,700. Okay, it's the average cost of living in Mass. All right, so ain't exactly happy about it. You know what I'm saying? We are in the top 24%, like most expensive places to live in the world. That's another thing people don't understand. We live in the top 24 most expensive places to live in the world. That's an insane stat, right? Now, on top of that, though, this greater Springfield metropolitan area is designated the 111th largest TV market in the United States. Think about that for a second. We have a reach and viewership that is comparable to Tallahassee or Fort Wayne. Okay? Do you understand that? I need y'all to understand these numbers. We have the reach of a place the size of Tallahassee or Fort Wayne. Okay, that's insane. That's our viewership reach. Okay? All right? So, we're talking about how this could work, right? Now, let me tell you something else. Mass Mutual, I believe, let's see here, $56.6 million was generated last year, right? 2022, they made $56.6 million. They generated, they generated $56.6 million, and 600 jobs were created. It was the largest in 51 years. You hear that, right? The largest in 51 years. All right? Then on top of that, there were 440,000, let me get this correct, an estimated 440,000 visitors to the greater Springfield and Hamden area. And an estimated $692.1 million were spent on attractions out here. Yo, what are we talking about right now? $692 million was spent on tourists coming here and spending moolah, okay? But now you're trying to convince me that we can't support a WNBA team with an 8,000 person capacity arena, but somehow we're generating all this cash. Where's all this cash flow coming from? I guess it's coming from the sky. It's the magic sky money man. No, sir. There's just this negative mindset that envelops too many of our citizens. And it's not just something that's only we do it. It's actually done worldwide. Everybody has this grass is greener thing going on. There's somebody in New York that think New York is trash. They're talking about how it's dirty, it smells, it's too much smog, too many people, it's too cluttered. You know what I'm saying? There's somebody in some small town complaining that there's nobody, it's too small, they ain't got a football team. You know what I'm saying? They got like 30 people at their school. You know what I'm saying? There's always something for somebody to complain about. And I'm cognizant of that. So I try to have a different mindset. Even though I have my gripes too, my gripes don't come in just trying to wallow in it. It's more about like saying it to make it understood that there's a problem and we should be trying to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where my energy more comes from. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, I'm not enveloped in this negative energy of we can't. Yes, the fuck we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We totally can. We're a whole new generation. We are not our moms and dads. We're around. We're on the floor. Like dads are here with their kids. They're bringing them to all types of events. I'm bringing my daughter to Comic-Con. I see my fellow, you know what I'm saying, peers doing the same. You know what I'm saying? They're bringing their kids to the zoo. They ain't got time to go to the club. They got time to spend with the kids. I'm not saying that there's not still some dysfunction. Of course there is. I mean, it's just life. Ain't not never gonna be perfect. I mean, we can only do the best we can. So, in the mind of everything being putting its best foot forward, the way I look at it, there's like a nice synergy here. Because like having an attraction like the WNBA, we already have a casino, right? And again, everybody has negative thoughts about these things, but the casino gives $20 million a year just to sit here, just before anything else, before they're paying their taxes, which come to us anyway, and all that other stuff. They're already $20 million. Bam, here you go, Springfield. Hold that. Bam, just to be here. All right. On top of the money that it generates just for us going there, and the taxes that they pay back and that come back into the system. All right. So that's an attraction. We're not gonna sit here and play these games. All right. I don't care if you think Mohegan Suns is better or not. That's not what it's about. We're talking about here, now, our place. You know what I'm saying? Our 680 to 1.1 million in our corridor, the Western Mass corridor. I ain't worried about Connecticut. Connecticut having their fun. It's time for us to have our fun. Okay? So what I'm saying is, if we could do that, we could get a WNBA team here. You think about it. Let me bring up these costs, right? It basically, a WNBA payroll is about $1 million. Like if you got a full team, everybody getting paid max. You know what I'm saying? Because based on the WNBA salary, $1 million salary. Now you also got to think about employing all the other people that come with it. You know what I'm saying? All the staff. That's another $1 million. So basically, just for the payroll and the players and then the staff and stuff like that, it's about $2 million. Now, like just doing the math, let's just say for some reason you get an average of 4,000 people. Let's say we only fill half the seats. You know, say that average ticket price of $47, $45. Average ticket price of $45. I said 45. So at that, you will make about $7.2 million just off of ticket sales. I'm not adding in anything else. Just off of ticket sales, you get $7.2 million. All right. That's taking care of the players' payroll. So the players are getting paid, number one. That's important right there. And then number two, also high right behind them on the list of importance, got to pay your employees. So that $1 million, bam, right? That leaves you with another $5.2 million of money to play with, right? Quote unquote, right? Because we ain't even getting into TV deals. We ain't getting the jersey sales. We didn't get into none of that. We're just talking about ticket sales, all right? So that's $7.2 million, right? And then to rent out the Mass Mutual, yeah, right? Because you got to pay Mass Mutual to rent that out. $500,000 to $1 million for them 20 to 30 games, because you got to think about playoffs, home playoff games, right? So about you're gonna pay about 500,000 to $1 million. So that right there, and I'm talking about for the season, I believe. Should cost me. Yeah, basically, yeah, for the season. So you get all that done. Everybody's getting paid. Everybody's getting their money. You still have money left over. And then this is when you come into concessions. If everybody just spent like an average of like $20 at half capacity, and because I know people spend more than $20, to be honest with you. Like, so you're not spending $20 when you go to a game. That is, it's just not gonna happen. You're gonna spend like 30, probably 40, 50 even. So let's just say the average is $20. We're just being cheap. I just want to be on the low end of things. Like, you're talking about $20, $1.6 million right there over them 20 games, 20 to 30 games. I did 20 games, but just thinking about just regular season, not even talking about postseason. It's just regular season, just straight 20 games, $1.6 million. Just if the average person at $20 a person at a capacity of 4,000, right? So like when you're really doing the numbers are there. The numbers are really there. You definitely can make money. And if you wanted to do a full house, let's just say for some reason Springfield got it rocking, tickets was just, you know what I'm saying, you couldn't get a ticket and you just selling out the building at 8,000 people. Bro, you talking about $14 million? You know what I'm saying? That's the max potential. Max potential just off ticket sales. Can you imagine 14 million off ticket sales every game? That sounds insane. That sounds insane. Yeah, I'm just saying right there, you 500,000 to $1 million for the arena, $1 million for the players, $1 million for the staff. Come on now, you still got 11 million just hanging around off of ticket sales. You could tell me that there's no potential here, man. Y'all got to be kidding me. Y'all not really giving this area credit. There's a lot of people that obviously are from outside the area. They're just not giving the area credit. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't even get into sponsorship deals. Like, you have sponsorship deals that you could be doing. You got outlooks that you could do. Like, obviously it's the WNBA, so you could be more focused on, say, reaching out to brands that are ran by women, you know, and getting a different form of sponsorship. Like, obviously they're not going to be able to shell out the same type of money as, say, like a Nike or something like that, or Pepsi, right? But in the sense of like giving them a moment as well. Like, say, instead of having the same like Sprite commercial play 15 times per broadcast, now you're gonna give everybody like a slot. Like, okay, you're gonna get a 30-second slot here, you get one here, you get one here. They're only gonna get that one slot because they can only afford such, but they're gonna get a slot. They're gonna be seen. It's gonna be a lot of eyeballs, quote unquote. Now that brand is gonna get recognition. Da da da. That's obviously how advertising works, sponsorship works. But the point is that's the synergy of it. So if you're reaching out to brands like that, you're kind of reaching into different demographics that are being untapped or even ignored, because we live in a different age. This isn't 1985. This ain't 1995. This ain't 2005. This ain't even 2015. You know what I'm saying? The social media reach through TikTok and Twitter and Instagram and everything. It's just different. So people have to adjust to that new reality of gaining money through those type of eyeballs. And there's a lot of ways that this could be made profitable. Even thinking about the like I said, like the seats. You're only just talking about ticket sales. We ain't even get deep into concessions and TV deals and TV views and stuff like that. So when you put it all into perspective, there's really a lot of money to be made off of a WNBA team being in Springfield. I mean, you got all the history behind it. You know what I'm saying? The home of Springfield. You got like the Hall of Fame's right here. You know what I mean? Like there's so much potential for for synergy with the community and the league. You know what I mean? It's just there. I don't know what type of lens other people are looking at, but the only lens that I could look at where I'm living at is through the way that it's growing. There's been a lot of things that have been moving well here. Like I said, a while back we got the train station jobs. You got more buses coming in. They got new electric buses. You got higher demand for trains in PVT reach in the Pioneer Valley corridor, we like to call it, right? Because people want more train rides back and forth between like say Northampton and Springfield or Hatfield or Amherst and Agawam and places like that, that more frequent bus trips, not once every hour, how about once every half hour, or between here and Springfield, or even like Boston. Like people have been clamoring about a train line that goes back and forth between Boston and Springfield on a 30-minute schedule. Like every 30 minutes there should a train going out and a train coming in. Like that's what people want. And in order for these economics to work, the more we have things like say a WNBA team, it makes things like that more reasonable, because now say as far as buses go, you got to think about outside of just like I said Springfield. There's other areas. You got say I don't know Northampton, right? Say the bus only goes out there once every hour, but say you got kids out here that want to go to college up there. Having transportation could be a deterrent to going there. Like now, like, oh, how am I gonna get there back and forth to home? Like I can't afford a dorm room, but I want to stay at home, still go to school up there, blah blah. It just makes things easier. So now, say we have a bus that goes up there till say 12 o'clock, because the games end at I don't know 10. I don't know. Is it? Yeah, basically like say about 10 o'clock. I mean, nah, they could be a little earlier. Say the game starts at like 7:30, could end at 9:30. But yeah, basically about 10 o'clock. It could overtime. It could be overtime. So say games are ending at 10 o'clock. You got people that live outside the city and they still want to be able to see the games, but maybe they don't have a car. Maybe they don't want to park. Maybe the parking's obnoxious and they don't want to park because they're in the city and they find the city obnoxious, right? But now they could just take the bus down. But say there's a bus that runs to 12 o'clock, they'll still be able to get home. They say the bus will take them all the way out there to their home. Maybe they just leave their car parked at the terminal where they're at, or whatever the case may be. But just having an expanded system like that helps everybody else out, because now with those later bus rides, the same people that want these buses because they work and they got jobs that get off at 10 o'clock and they want to get home. Now, those same people, the people who watch the game, people who are getting off work, people who might work at the arena that might live out there too. Now they're getting off work. They all have transportation home, because not everybody just riding around in a car, bro. Not everybody wants the car, and not everybody can have a car. Maybe for some reason they can't have a license. Maybe their vision sucks, or I don't know. Maybe they don't like driving. Whoever knows. There doesn't have to be a reason for not having it, but there's just a lot of people who use public transportation, and having an expanded transportation only helps everybody. So now you have later buses, you have greater reach. You know what I mean? Now PVTA doesn't have such a problem, because now there's money coming in, because you have more people paying for these fares, right? And then of course they're getting newer buses, electric buses. They got Wi-Fi on them, so people be on them playing their games. They got this little 20-minute, 30-minute ride. They gotta make all the way out, maybe 45 minutes even. They gotta take this little 45-minute ride, all the way out to say Greenfield or something like that. Now they're on the bus. They can plug in with the USB. They got Wi-Fi. It sounds great, don't it? That's how a city should be run. And that's the idea we should be having. You know what I mean? And you gotta understand, the economy is here. Like I said, I'm looking at all these stats. Got them written down and everything. Just people are gonna have their negative outlooks, but when you're looking at these numbers, you can't argue with these numbers. You know what I mean? $700 million just from people visiting the greater Springfield area is insane. That's a lot of money coming here just for people visiting. People acting like people don't want to come here. Yes, they do. They're coming here. That's $700 million. That shows $700 million was spent here that wasn't from people who are from here. So that shows you that people do want to come here. So that narrative got to die. It's got to die a horrible death. I'm kind of sick of like the downing of everything. Like, I mean, I know, like I said, I'm with you with the problems. I see the problems. I know there's ways we could be better. There's a lot of things that need to be fixed. But let's not act like there's not a positive, like we're not actually growing. We just want it to be a little faster. We're impatient. Let's be honest. We're impatient. You know what I'm saying? We felt like we've been waiting long enough, and we want it to happen overnight. But this is just how it works. Sometimes it's a little slow, but it's like through things like this, we gotta expand, and the expansion has to be constant. We cannot sit here and wallow. You know what I'm saying? If we just go, okay, we got a casino, and that's it. We're good. No, we're never gonna grow. Never gonna grow. We're moving. We're moving up. We got to get greedy. Next. Now we want a WNBA team. We got to get greedy. We got to be like, no, we want that. Bring that here. We're getting bigger concerts. MGM's making money. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the numbers are showing here. I don't. Stop listening to all this weird hearsay, bro. Go look at them numbers. You could go on Wikipedia. You could go on Google just like me. Take your time. I spent at least the last like 45 minutes to an hour looking up all these numbers, looking through Western Mass, you know what I'm saying, news, all type of stuff. Like, bro, it's right here. I just copied and pasted a lot of the notes that I needed just so I could tell it to you verbatim, and I wouldn't just be saying stuff off the top of my head. But there's definitely a large market here. Like I said, the TV market is huge, man. We a huge TV market. We spend a lot of money, $700 million from tourism alone. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? $56 million was generated by Mass Mutual alone. Don't tell me Mass Mutual doesn't get visitors. You know what I mean? We got the foot traffic. We get the money. Don't get it twisted. We got it here. You know what I'm saying? You know, Western Mass is really a lovely place. It's just, you know, we got some terrible people up top. We still got some old gunk we gotta get rid of. That's all it is. You know what I mean? You know, that's all it is. There's always them people that are trying to hold it back, but the city's really got a bright, beautiful future. And the thing we gotta learn is that on our march to becoming a metropolis, just like say Boston or whatever, we just can't fall for the same pit traps and turn ourselves into a giant like rat house. Is like the only way I could describe it. Like, we don't want all them tenement buildings stacked houses, you know, apartments on apartments stacked on apartments. We don't want that. That's like the pit trap. See, that's the fallacy. People think that like living like that is cool. It's not. But I don't want to live with somebody above me, beside me, on the right of me, below me. You know what I mean? That's an insane way to really live. You know what I'm saying? Because we some of us, not all of us, you know, came from the hood. I've lived in projects. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily tenement buildings all the time. I've lived in them, but like, you know, project buildings where it was more like a duplex. You live right next door to somebody. You can hear everything that's going on next door. Ain't nobody got time for that. I like living in a house with a backyard, front yard, growing a garden and stuff like that. That's we still got to keep that while still maintaining like our march towards growth. We don't want to become, you know, unnatural, so to speak. We still want trees. We want grass. We want all that. We want to become like this brick and mortar city with houses stacked on top of houses. You know what I'm saying? So we got to keep our flavor, but we still got to grow. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this WNBA team here. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's people out here with money, investors. I ain't got $10 million. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I mean? I might have 5, 10. I'll throw it on an investment team. You know what I mean? Like, we could do that. It doesn't have to be one person. It could be like an investment team of like 100 people, 200 people, but just all in one team. You know what I'm saying? You just add it up. Some people are gonna have more than others, bigger shares. You know how that go. There's ways to do things, like, but it's just more about seeing solutions instead of putting problems. I see the growth in both. You know what I'm saying? Because both kind of have my negative outlook. Like, you know what I mean? People are looking at the WNBA like it don't make money, like it's negative, or nobody's watching women's sports. That's untrue. It's actually been growing at a staggering rate. and it's best to catch stuff like now, almost like stocks. Like don't buy stock when it's $500. Buy stock when it's $5, because when it blows up to being 500, that's when you really could capitalize. So it's like don't don't be slow. If we could get a WNBA team right now, while teams are still cheap to get $10 million, you know how much it costs for an NBA team? You got 600 million, 500, $600 million for it? No, CD not about to shell out 600 million for an NBA team, or a billion, damn near, for an NFL team. Well, really, you don't need a billion, but I'm saying, you know, you do 500 million, 600 million for either. It don't even matter. Even like an MLB team, like shit. Even if you want to say that 500, 600 million, bro, that's a lot of money. So if you could catch one at 10 million, that ain't nothing, bro. That's nothing. $10 million for this city, the greater Springfield area, to shell out $10 million to get an NBA team here. I mean a WNBA team here. That's that's light work. That's light work. Okay? That's light work for this city. I'm not hearing that. That's light work for this city. You know what I mean? Because the revenue is gonna be there. It's gonna create the traffic. It's gonna increase the revenue at MGM. People are gonna come to the games. People gamble. People we got DraftKings. We got all that now. So people are gonna gamble on the games. People gamble on everything. People never watch horse racing, gamble on horse racing. Come on now. People gamble on everything and anything. They gonna gamble on the WNBA games, and that will make them invest in it. Now they gonna watch them. They're right there. They're gonna gamble. Casino right there. They can place bets. Got bookies. What are you talking about? You understand? You gotta understand the synergy. You're not looking at the total package. And like I said, like in downtown Springfield, it's got plenty of transportation. I know people worry about traffic. What traffic? We can handle that. That's nothing. Comic-Con, we handled that. Sell out. We had that for 2 days. We had to expand from 1 day to 2 days in the midst of 1 year. It took one time for us to get Comic-Con. One time. The first time. Only time we got it. Hey, oh, nobody's gonna go to Comic. Trust me. I heard it. I know, because I'm a fan. And I've heard it all. Oh, that would never work here. You gotta go to Boston. You gotta go to LA. You gotta go to New York. Everybody always say that. And then hear what happened. It come. Line around the block. Line around the block. Up the street. 45 minute, 2 hours of wait time. Outside, 90-degree weather. That's insane. 2 hour wait. Had to give it 2 days. Bigger rooms. Upstairs and downstairs. Now, pure success. We're going to do it again. We got to come back. That's what they're saying. We got to come back. Springfield's lit. We love it here. They love it here. Get outside. Stop sitting on your phones and crabbing about places that you're not going. Acting like there's nothing to do. You got this go-karting up the street. I seen that about going up to my job all the time. They got that little go-karting out there. Now I'm just speaking on things like what's going on. I see roads getting rebuilt. You know what I'm saying? Hey, better for the traffic, right? I see new places getting put up. I see new cuisine. We got Puerto Rico cuisine that opened up like 5-6 years ago. It's doing well. Puerto Rico bakery got 2 stores out here. You got people like, that opened up their own sneaker shops and clothing shops, and people, you know what I'm saying? Look, Jelly doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? NDL doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? You got leagues out here doing their thing. Like, bro, there's a lot of small businesses. You got, look what we're doing. Like on a small note, we got our guys who do their videography, making their own clothes, doing their own beats. Guys like Doe, guys like Vinny Pine. Like, come on, stop playing. Guys like Mike Gibbs out here, like, come on, bro, stop playing. You see them every day doing their thing. So don't act like business and community isn't moving towards its peak. We're expanding. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the growth might be slow while you're in it. Because like anything, if while you're in it, things don't seem like they be moving. But when you take that step back and you from the outside looking in, there are people I know that came here 5 years ago, come back, and they be like, yo, what that's over here now, and that's being built over there, and they redid that over there, and look, the South End Community Center up there, and that, like, oh shoot, like, oh, this new, there's Jordan's gym up there. How expected? What's that? That just got built. Like, that's how people acting. Like, you gotta understand, when you're here, it be feeling like things be going slow. But if you're one of the people that you ever talk to people who just come and visit every now and then, and they left 2 years ago and come here and they be seeing the change. I be seeing the change. You know, sometimes I be going places, I be like, whoa, when did that get here? The new Dunkin' Donuts around the corner. You know what I mean? Like, Plaza's getting rebuilt. They just rebuilt. They're rebuilding downtown. I see like a new parking lot needed to be rebuilt. You know what I'm saying? Lots being bought, redoing a lot of stuff. So it's like, okay, there's progress being made. I mean, like I said, it's slow sometimes, but it's being made. I see it. You know, it's been a long 45-minute little video, but I'm just saying the infrastructure is here for us to support a WNBA team. It's really up to people to just stop having a negative outlook on things and seeing the positivity. Because you know, if it ain't there, you can't go to it. How do you know if people are gonna go if it's not there for you to see that? You can run as many numbers as you want, but the real litmus test is the rollout. Is when it's open, when it's there. People will always say there's nothing to do, but when there are things to be done, people will go to them. They will gravitate. Maybe it's not for you, but it's for somebody. I know I'll take my daughter. It's not what you talking about. I like basketball. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to gear my kids toward more positive things. I don't want them just hanging around doing a whole bunch of nothing, getting in trouble. Come on now. We the generation that knows what that's like. We grew up, and now we gonna gear our kids to stuff. I see it already. We're putting our kids in these classes. We put them in karate. We put some arts and craft. We put them in computer classes, gaming classes. We taking them to go to these events. We taking them go-karting. We taking them paintballing. We putting them in basketball tutorials. We are the new coaches. We are the people that are the tutors now. You know what I mean? Like, we put more of a investment in our next generation. So it's like, you got to think like that too. You got to think about, like, us, the parents. Where are we taking our kids? Like, but if you know there's a WNBA game down the street and you got daughters, I'm not saying that you want to take your sons, but girl dads especially, because you got to think about the demographic that obviously is more likely to go there. And I'm not gonna play. It's gonna be the girls and the women and the guys that, you know, that appreciate the game, because there's a lot of guys that do appreciate the women's game. But at the same time, like I said, it's gonna be the guys, even the guys who don't necessarily like watching the WNBA because they have daughters, they're going to take their daughters there. And, you know, 80% of Western Mass is white males, and they spend money and they bring their daughters places, you know, and just like us, you know what I'm saying? Because I know I'm speaking more in viewership as far as, like, you know, the minority community. So us black dads, we already know we're gonna take our daughters. Same thing with Spanish dads, we're gonna do the same. But don't get it twisted. Those white dads are gonna take their kids to the game too. Don't get it twisted. You see, with the WNBA, it's mixed. It's not, you know, the WNBA is more like an 80-20 split, but the WNBA is more like a 40-47. You know what I'm saying? It's 47% black girls, and now other half is black and Spanish and all the other girls too. They invested too, Asian girls. So don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? There's it's in a weird way, it's almost like a bigger market for the girls to have a chance, because it's more of a mixed market for them. You know what I mean? Like I said, so you gotta remember that it's not just, you know, sports fiends, but it's also parents who want to give their kids positive role models in the sports world to look at. You know, like I said, I'm a dad. I play ball. I don't got a son to play ball with, but my daughter played with me. So I could take her somewhere to show that there's girls who hoop too. You know what I mean? So don't forget about the psychology of this. There's a psychology to this. You know what I mean? And that people are just not seeing. They're just being too hyper focused on the sports stand and not the casual person who actually spends. But there's a lot of casuals who spend money. There's a lot of casuals who go to the game and still can't tell you most of the players on the rosters. But because they're they're bringing their families for these events. You know, they're still spending this money. They might know two players. They might know two. They might be able to say, "Hey, Diana Taurasi, she's nice." They might know the stars of the team and not know the role players. But hey, that's a step, bro. That's a step. There's plenty of casuals who are like that with the NFL and the NBA. They don't know too many of the players. They know Steph Curry though. They know LeBron. You feel me? So don't get it twisted. The casuals bring cash too. Don't just think about the sports fanatic. Think about the casuals and reasons that the casuals come. Some people just want to have a reason to go out. I maybe now you wanna bring a girl to a game, bro. You be like, you know what I'm saying? We bring a girl to a girls game. You know what I'm saying? You know there's fellas out there that be trying to lay on the game. They want to show that they in tune with the women's. You know what I mean? So they want to bring them to the girls game. Oh look, bring it to the women's game. So you kind of get like a little bit of both. You know what I'm saying? Fellas want to see a little sports action. The women might be invested because they see, they supporting their fellow women. You know what I'm saying? It's a win-win for both sides. You guys ain't seeing like the benefits. It's too busy thinking about old negative tropes. And that's why I want to get you understanding that you guys are still stuck on old negative tropes and not to stay on that. This city, we can do that. We can support that. And I believe that. You know what I'm saying? Mamba out, baby.